Hi, everybody. I'm Stosh with the UPX Spark Exchange. I'm going to give you a quick breakdown of what that Spark Exchange is and some future development that we're working on. So, the Spark Exchange is a 24-hour, 7 days a week Spark rental service. So, inside of Upland, if you don't have enough Spark or you're trying to create structures very quickly, you can come and rent Spark from other players. Or if you have an abundance amount of Spark and you want to make a couple extra UPX, you can then go and rent on other people's buildings. And then once you have a structure, you can go and play in the Spark Tycoon. The Spark Tycoon is basically a resource gathering idle type game where you turn your structures into resource nodes. So think lumber mills, ore mines. We have an energy node. So as you build these nodes, they will constantly give you more resources so you can continue to build different types of nodes. Um, and then those resources you gather, you can either build, you can sell in the marketplace. And as we continue to build out our infrastructure, we're working towards layer 3 type games to add more utility to those structures. Simple example, we're currently working on a survivor type game. In that game, you might need things such as potions, right? So you get injured in the game, you need a potion to heal yourself. Well, how do you get the resources for the potion? You do that through your resource node. So you have a garden. That garden makes flowers, so you can get specific alchemy type crafting mechanisms so you can play the other games. So that's pretty much our project in a nutshell. I don't know if anybody has any questions or if I could elaborate on anything for you.
You hear me?
Hello.
You hear me? Sir, look at it.
Yes.
Okay, so I wanted to know, there's been a lot of growth in the game over the past few years. There's been a lot of growth in the game over the past few years, but I haven't seen the price of Spark really, with much. Uh, Seeing a lot of constructions being made, shops, MetaVentures, but that hasn't really reflected in the price of Spark. Like if you have to see like the leasing per hour per day, like that hasn't really moved much. Just curious as to why that.
So the real reason it hasn't moved is because inside of Upland, what can you do with your structure? So today, unless you're a meta venture or you have a dev shop or you're, some sort of organization, you have no real utility for that structure. So if you go make a micro house, it's either you make it your home residence or it just sits there. So the Spark Tycoon is taking that initiative to give you utility to that structure. So now when you go make a micro house, you can start generating resources and you have a reason to have it, right? And that's the real reason you know, Spark price has gone down, right? There's not much you can do with Spark other than build. And why do you want to build? Well, nobody knows. So now we've given you a reason to build, right? And as utility, these other layer twos come on, as Upland adds more utility, you will continue to see that cost of Spark to rise.
So what Spark Tycoon exactly?
Spark Tycoon is a layer two application that allows you to generate resources. It's you ever played like a venture capitalist or lemonade stand, some variation of that. So the general idea is you take your structure, right, your micro house, and you can decide what type of resource node you want to start gathering. And as you gather more resources, you can build more items inside of Spark Tycoon. And then you can take those resources and either sell them on the marketplace or you can build more.
Got it. And once travel transportation comes up, once that comes out, and there'll be other business models like warehousing and things like that. So that definitely will increase the utility of Spark more, I'm assuming.
Correct. Yes.
How far out do you think that'll be like?
I mean, I can't speculate when Upland will have it inside of their system, but I imagine a layer two organization has the ability to bring it out a lot faster.
Got it. Thanks.
They
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, so I have a question on like similar to Spark Exchange. Do you think there could be a use case for the PROTEM exchange as well?
A use case for what?
PROTEM.
Possibly. I mean, I don't see how I can allow users to rent PROTEM or anything to that effect right now. That doesn't mean in the future they won't give us the capability to do it.
Yeah, because right now we can there is a option like we can feed that PROTEM to other user totem. So similar to that, going forward, we can have that as well so that we can use our PROTEM to feed other totem.
Okay. So you're kind of suggesting maybe create a marketplace for people to feed each other's PROTEM or
Correct.
totem. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I could see a use case for it. I don't off the top of my head see how that fits right into the Spark Exchange right now, but who knows? Yeah.
Thanks.
Yep. Thank you.
Hi, Stosh. So I have the next question for you.
Okay.
We have seen that it's been even less than 1 year since you have taken on the leadership of UPX Spark Exchange. Now, some may argue that you didn't ask for that role, you were pushed into it. But
Okay.
how has that journey been so far? What has been your learnings? The change of control of ownership to you and everything that comes with it.
Sure. So I've actually been a co-founder since day one. Myself and Caffeine wrote all the original code and the backend infrastructure for what was originally the UP2 Data Hub, which got changed into the Spark Exchange. So I've been in the leadership role since the beginning. Um, Masi was the face of our product. He facilitated all the community functions. He was handling, the transactions. But behind the scenes, I've always been a part of it. Um, Once we, you know, kind of separated ways and we, Caffeine and I took full ownership of the Spark Exchange. Prior to that, we sat down and wrote out an entire roadmap of objectives that we wanted to accomplish. Um, and we're just currently working towards them. I mean, we're partially way through where we actually want to be. There's a lot more development that is on the road, and yeah, I mean, we're just grinding it out. I don't have a problem being, in front. So here we are. Hopefully that answered what you're asking. Yeah.
Absolutely does. A lot of
Cool.
people that have recently started using the Spark Tycoon have a lot of debates on the fall of the energy prices in the secondary market. So how do you look at that? And are there any plans to maybe enter the plunge protection team and stop the plunging of the secondary market prices of energy from falling down?
Right. So the initial price of energy that you guys saw was all the hype of a new product coming out. When our team sat down and created models, we had tangible goals of, okay, we want, a player with this size count to be able to make X amount of resources a month, basically. Um, I think we're still well above what our initial models were. However, that doesn't mean that we want the price to come down. So as we continue to release new utility, right? So we have several things on our roadmap that will drive that utility so the price will stabilize or even potentially increase. We've got some ideas to kind of take some resources out of the market, and we're going to start reducing loot boxes so they're not so fruitful, right? The end goal is that we reduce loot boxes to the point where a new player can build a new node every week is essentially the goal that we're working towards. When you look at the other structures, they almost essentially give you enough resources that you can build a new node every 2 weeks. And we kind of want to keep that pace, right? The game's supposed to be a slow and roll game. It's not a sprint. Hey, let me fill everything out instantly. The marketplace gives you that ability, but if you're just an idle player and you're looking to play, then it's going to be a lot slower, and that's purposeful. So layer layer 2 development's going on right now. We're doing inventory, so we can start giving you items that aren't resources, such as maybe we do a raffle and I can give you a raffle ticket. But as we expand that, we can start working towards the layer 3 integration, right? Maybe you get items that aren't directly resources, but they still can be housed in your account. Maybe you get a sword, right? A sword technically isn't a resource, it's an item that you have, but you could still sell that sword on the marketplace. So as this development continues to grow, you'll see the utility and the marketplace stabilize a little bit more.
Absolutely, absolutely. So a lot of people are also wondering when they will be able to upgrade their nodes from level 1 to level 2 and beyond. Is there any roadmap? Can you talk on that?
Yeah, so that's currently on the roadmap. So phase 1 is get inventory done. That way we can move to research. Research will allow you to get research schematics. And then as you get your schematics, you can use those to pay for your like level 2, unlock the ability to level up to level 2, unlock the ability to level up to level 3, that type of mechanism. So everything's kind of getting built in a sequential order to facilitate these actions. And we're working directly towards like the big goal, big push right now is for leveling. And then once leveling's done, we'll pick the next thing in our roadmap and work towards that.
Absolutely, Stosh. With that being said, is there any new projects that UPX Spark Exchange is working on that you are at the liberty to talk to us today?
Yeah, so we started developing on Spark Survivors, which is our first layer 3 game. We had a couple team meetings this week. The code's already began. I've reached out to a couple more game developers, trying to bring in more people, more resources so we can develop a little bit faster. But if you're not familiar with what Spark Survivors is, it's, think Vampire Survivors, 20 minutes to dawn, right? You start the session, it's going to be a timed event. So different monsters and bosses are going to constantly coming in waves at you, and you basically have to survive that time period. This type of game will be a little bit of risk, so maybe you have to ante up a spark, or not a spark, but a energy resource to enter the event. And then if you can make it to the final 5 minutes, then you will get some sort of reward that is more beneficial than energy. But say you don't make it that far, then you're going to lose probably what was in your backpack for the beginning of the session or something, right? So it won't just be, hey, let me go grind these out. It'll be, some risk reward type play in there as well. So that's what we're currently working towards.
Absolutely. And another feature of the new Spark Exchange is in the arcade feature that you've launched. You've launched a lot of mini games as part of the Upland drive to create mini games. Can you talk to us a little bit about that and how that's been?
Yeah, so we created the arcade. Upland did a mini game challenge recently, and this was our participation in it. And Mr. Alan C has been working with us behind the scenes to get us several more games to add to the arcade. But the big picture for the arcade is the proof of concept, right? We can log in using our auth system. We can have tokens. We can do many different things and kind of get a feel for what our community likes. Like, what type of game do you like? Because there's so many different genres of games. And we want to make sure we're building things that our community is interested in. And the arcade gives us that ability.
Absolutely, Stosh. The final question that I have for you is, are we planning to see UPX Spark Exchange get on the journey and get ahead of everyone else on the Sparklet when Sparklet does launch? Are you planning to integrate with perhaps crypto exchanges and not only do renting of Spark within Upland, but also facilitate the buying and selling of Spark online, perhaps within exchange as a third party?
Definitely. We're 100 pro Sparklet. We support it every step of the way. Sparklet's going to open many doors. It's going to facilitate a lot of transactions, both inside of Upland and on the secondary market. We've already started working on our proof of concepts to integrate different type of exchanges. Maybe, you trade your Spark Tycoon energy for Sparklet. I don't know. It's just a possibility, but we want to be at the forefront of all that. And we've already started taking those precautions and preparations so we can be there. Now we're just waiting on them to release, what type of exchange they're going to be on.
Absolutely. Well, I believe that is all of the audience questions, but we would love to hear your thoughts on anything Upland related or topic stock exchange that you have. And lastly, can we expect Stosh to be in Mumbai for the next third Mumbai meetup, which happens next year in January?
Okay. Yeah, I'd love to come back. So my thoughts on things on Upland, I mean, I think they're doing a wonderful job. They keep releasing new cities. They're constantly, pushing the envelope. You got the Sparklet coming out. You've got a ton of layer 2 applications that are coming out. I've heard there's 6 to 8 new mini games that'll be out on the market soon. I think this community itself is a fantastic community. The people that are involved are very passionate about it. They want to see progress. A lot of people are working towards pushing those boundaries and creating great products. And, I love being here. I've been around for almost 2.5 years now, and I don't see myself going anywhere anytime soon. So.
Absolutely. Well, that was Stosh. Any final comments, Stosh, for everyone watching you live in Mumbai and online?
No, I think we pretty much covered everything. But I appreciate you guys having me here. I've enjoyed, being able to answer your questions. And if you guys have any more questions, just find me on Discord. It's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. Yep.
Absolutely. Well, with that, thank you very much, Stosh. It was great having you here.
Yep. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.